Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The feature race at Belmont Park on Sunday is the Point of Entry Stakes. Let's take a look at this field. We're going 1.5 miles on the turf. Appropriate, Mike, because Point of Entry was a very good long-distance turf horse for Shug McGahee.
Yeah, he was. He was a real good horse. Yeah, this is there are no point of entries in this field. Let's not kid ourselves. But I guess it's in some ways it's a pretty well matched group.
Now, the number 4, Moretti, is even money, but Moretti is entered main track only. We hope he doesn't compete. We want a nice competitive turf race. Let's take a look at the time form US pace projector. Now, the number 1, Tide of the Sea, Mike's got to be a little bit closer to the pace, I think. They usually ride them that way. Mo Gotcha, the 7, has shown some speed on dirt, some speed on turf. I guess he's going to be close. Beacon Hill stretches out. I think Mo Gotcha and Tide of the Sea are going to be 1, 2 in some order.
That's what I thought. I definitely don't think Tide of the Sea is going to be third early in this race, but I guess we'll see how it plays out. If Mo Gotcha stays in, I guess they're going to show speed with that horse in here. To me, Tide of the Sea is at his absolute best when he makes the front, and I think they're going to go forward.
Now, Horacio Caramanos wanted to make the lead with Tide of the Sea in the Japan Turf Cup earlier in the month. Really aggressive out of there. Tide of the Sea just couldn't make the lead. They were going pretty fast. He settled in third. He was just too good for those horses. Let's watch the stretch run. Tide of the Sea, who took over on the third turn, makes the front, and is just going to go on to a very professional and solid score. 92 Beyer speed figure, a graded stakes winner at 1.5 miles. Good tactical speed, good form, good connections.
Yeah, just better than this field that he's defeating here. You can see that his prior 3 tries in graded stakes company didn't work out well at all. Just beaten by over 20 lengths in all of those races. But he's a much better fit in fields like this. And to me, it's his speed that really makes him dangerous in here. Dan, he's not any kind of a superstar. But if he makes the front in here and they don't push him, he's going to be hard to run down.
Shamrock at the number 2 conversely likes to come from the back of the pack, and he also kind of needs to prove he's really a stakes horse. I thought he ran okay in the Johns Call 2 starts back when they stretched him out to 13 furlongs. There was a legitimate pace. He was last on the backstretch the final time, swung widest, and maybe he gets third if Rosario doesn't blow the stick in the stretch.
Maybe he could have gotten third that day. He would have gotten third with a great trip, though, with plenty of pace in front of him. I mean, listen, is he the horse to beat in here in some ways? I mean, I guess he is. Boy, he's not a very prolific winner, Dan. He has no speed at all. I hate his running style. I think this is the right kind of spot for this horse. I just can't see taking something like the 7-5 morning line on him. Maybe he'll win. I would never bet him at that price.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he drifts up. This is a tough race to make a line, though, for. It is interesting to note he's run pretty well without Lasix, and, of course, no Lasix in stakes races in New York. Bluegrass Parkway, the last time he raced without Lasix, a winner in the Kentucky Downs Preview Turf Cup. But before we get to Bluegrass Parkway, let's go back to Shamrock's last race, Mike. I want to get your thought on that race. That one now winner's a 2 other than going 1.1 miles. They cut this horse all the way back. Again, he fell far behind Hurley. He's last on the rail in the stretch, and he kind of just runs on at the very end of this race. Do you think at this point in his career, 1.1 miles, this distance is just too short for him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously cutting back in distance could have worked against him, but I mean, you can just watch the running here, Dan. He's never a factor in this race. He is going to race on at the end after, Dylan Davis did everything right on this horse, just saved all the ground and got an inside run with him. He ran fine in there. It was, sort of his typical effort, though, not really threatening to win it while running an okay race.
All right, brain freeze over. Bluegrass Parkway, the number 3, 1-run closer. Last time went Lasix off, winner at Ellis Park in that Kentucky Downs Preview. They ran him in the Canadian International. The winner of that race, the European Invader, just freaked to like a 180 Beyer.
Right. Yeah, he couldn't win that race. When he won 2 starts back going 1.25 miles, he had a great setup that day. There was a lot of pace going on in there. They all contested it around the turn, and he just fanned wide in the stretch and ran him down with a perfect setup. He still only ran to 90. I don't know. To me, he's probably the deepest closer in the race. And if I was going to take one of those horses in here, I would probably take Shamrock.
Moretti entered main track only. Let's move to the 5, Beacon Hill. This horse has a lot of upside. Very lightly raced 4-year-old trained by Michael Matz, but he's going to have to stretch it out for the first time in his career. Let's go back to his most recent start at Keeneland earlier this month. It was over yielding ground. I thought all in all, the horse had a pretty decent trip. He was in the pocket. Now he's in behind horses briefly, switched back to his left lead in tight. Maybe didn't have the clearest chance to run, Mike, but I thought he did have his shot right here to make a finish.
I did too. I mean, maybe it wasn't a perfect trip, but it was a pretty good one, and he did have a look at it. He's just outfinished by a couple of pretty nice horses. I think both the 1-2 finishers are more allowance type runners than stakes horses, but this horse ran fine, and it was, at least in his defense, another step in the right direction. He was pretty good on dirt. He's obviously improved on turf. Who knows how far he wants to go, I guess, Dan. I mean, I haven't seen anything in his turf races so far that made me want to bet him in this field, but he does have upside, and he should be a price.
Another horse with upsides, the 6, Experienced, who is inexperienced. This is a 3-year-old with only 3 lifetime starts. I think you and I are both fans of his. He won his debut like a nice horse. He beat 4 next out winners in that race. He did it very gamely. He came back in the Bald Eagle Derby. He caught a paceless race at Laurel. He was charging at the end. He got beat by a much more experienced horse, Indian Lake, who had all the best of it up front. What happened last time out in the Virginia Derby? Was it simply a situation, not a lot of pace, had to come wide?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think he ran poorly at all in there. It's not like he came with some kind of huge finish in the stretch, but man, was he wide all the way around that second turn, while the winner just got a perfect trip, saving all the ground. I don't know. He didn't run great, but I didn't think he ran terribly. He obviously has a ton of upside. I actually feel like he ran, really well in his first 2 starts. And he's just got such a big pedigree behind him, Dad. I mean, this female family, it's all graded stakes winners. It's all distance for the most part. I really feel like, I know on figures he looks like he can't possibly win this race. I actually feel like he has a chance in here.
Mo Gotcha's 30-1 on the morning line is a potential pace presence. Nice claim by these connections. Took him for 43 starts back. Got a stakes placing on dirt going long. They tried him in the Woodward. He had no chance. Just draw a line through that race. His prior turf races are okay, but against way weaker competition. And I'm not sure pushing a horse like Tide of the Sea early is a recipe for success.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I looked at it too. I don't see how he could possibly win this race if he stays in and they decide to run. I guess they'll go forward with him, and that could, certainly play a factor in the outcome of this race, even if it's only to hurt a horse like Tide of the Sea. We'll see how it plays out. I would, obviously never bet him, but we'll see if he stays in and makes his presence felt.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the point of entry. I like where you're going. Experienced is going to be a price, not because of a lack of talent or pedigree, but simply because his buyer speed figures are very light right now, something that could easily be fixed by experience. This is only his 4th lifetime start.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he has to improve to win this race, but the more I looked at this field, Dan, the more I just didn't want the horses at short prices. I mean, maybe the 2 inside horses were run 1-2. I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. I just don't want to bet either one of them.
I need Shamrock obviously to drift. I'm a little bit surprised he's so short on the morning line, but I guess his buyers just stand out a bit. I'm not sure I completely trust him though, so I need at least 2-1, 5-2. Not sure I'm going to get it. 2-5-1-3 for me, 6-1-2-5 for Mike. It's the point of entry, the feature at Belmont on Sunday. Good luck.